What's up, people? This is your boy Levelhead, and we are back with another Live and Level Gamers podcast. We have the crew here, -1, but we got an addition that we don't get to hear from often. So when we do get on Sundays, we be looking forward to hearing from him. So go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's going on, ladies and gents? Jedi Knight. What's going on, folks?
All right, and let's go to the next guy, Optimus Prime himself. Go ahead, man.
What's going on, y'all? This is D2K saying what's up. Let's do this.
And the Black Captain America.
Modern warfare. Been thinking about it all week. Modern warfare. Thank you.
Forgot about that.
So, yeah, we back, folks. So, and we got Jedi Knight in the house tonight, man. This is what up. I'll be looking forward to hearing from this dude. And when we get on from him, man, I'll just be like, man, we got to get on with Jedi. We ain't heard from him in a minute.
Okay, but before we even get started, did you do your homework?
Yeah, okay, bum.
Man. I was supposed, man. I was trying, man. We didn't make it. We didn't make it, man. We had plans, and the wife wasn't feeling good, so we just stayed home, man.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all gotta clue me in on this homework. What did K-Bomb have to do?
Supposed to be going to see Logan.
Oh yeah. Okay. I listened to the podcast. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. We tried, man. The wife wasn't feeling good, man.
All right. Blame it on the wife, shall we? This is not the intro theme. This is just some music until I make a new intro theme. Phoenix Star 5000. Thank you. No, I'm just playing. What's up, bro? Anyway, he said, I like the other intro better. But this is episode 90. What is this? 93? 94?
94, right?
Yeah. We've been doing this that long. Jesus. Anyway,
to do something
like I
special
said, we got yeah. So we got everybody in the house -1. Hopefully he jump in if we get a chance to. But we are here on a Sunday with the one and only Jedi Knight.
Yeah, can I say something?
Go ahead.
I really appreciate that, but I just want everybody to know officially we have 158 days before kickoff 2017 for the NFL. Thank you very much.
That's my boy, right? And the Jets still have a quarterback.
Yeah, my Jets still don't have a quarterback.
You gonna have to bring us up to speed. How you got into this debating back and forth with Zaire, man? Where did that come from?
Oh no.
Oh, Zaire is my boy. I've been debating Zaire since like 2012, man. But yeah, that's right. I haven't been on the podcast in a minute.
Man, it's been a minute. You gotta tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah, shout outs to my boy Next Gen 720. He's a clown. Yeah, we were just going back and forth on Twitter, but originally I'm subbed to him on YouTube. He had made a video. Wow, this is sometime back in either late January or February, and he was saying how basically the Nintendo Switch will be this generation's Nintendo Wii. And I was trying to explain to him that I think that the Switch will be more on par to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One than what the Wii was to that generation's quote-unquote powerful systems. And he was in complete disagreement. And you know how it goes with the third-party games. There are a plethora of third-party games that come out. Nintendo doesn't have them, and it's like, you know, the Switch is not even out yet, or it just came out 15 minutes ago. What do you expect? And, you know, long story short, all of the, quote unquote issues that the Switch was having that people were exacerbating or making a big deal about, not really taking into consideration the fact that Nintendo always goes against the grain in, within the generations of the consoles that they make. So, it seems like they can never get a pardon when things go wrong, such as, the scratches on the screen or this and that, or games getting, rated 99, but just so happen not to be rated at 100, But you can have a game like Mass Effect Andromeda, though it's a third-party game that every other platform can have, but it seems to have all types of crazy issues, but nobody suddenly wants to talk about that.
Nah, we been talking
No,
about Mass Effect. We've been
No,
flaming
that was more of an undercover shot at my boy.
Yeah,
man.
He's real
man,
quiet on that,
the funny thing about that, I mean, Zaire is a character, and it is actually is intriguing and funny. I like him. I don't have no problem with. He called me the church boy.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it was he didn't know that was actually one of our rap groups back in the day. K-Bum know what I'm talking about. That's what we were actually called, the church boys. I was like, oh, you just confirming what I already know.
It's true.
So what he thought was a jab was actually I'm like,
he
dude,
ain't even calling you out your name.
Yeah, I'm like,
You
I'm
got the
so
prophesying.
yeah. So anyway, I like, go ahead and preach it because you tell the truth. So anyway, but we rock back and forth on Twitter. But yeah, I saw that, man. I had to go in and throw shots. He like what I said. I said, man, why are you letting? I said, man, Jedi Knight, I came in here and sheathed you on your own channel. He's like, so I was messing with him. But yeah, that was cool, dude. I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool.
Big
Can I
shout out
something to add to the Zaire thing?
Yeah.
I remember my first day on Twitter. When I joined the podcast, when the podcast was a little thing that me and Level did. My first day on Twitter, Zaire came at me full force. My first day, I'm like, hold up, player, I don't even know you. I didn't get the skinny boy. He was ready to call me a Sony pony and everything. I'm like, can I get my feet wet first?
Yeah, Zaire is a special case, man. But he's super relevant to the community, though. This dude is a comedian. He's definitely a character.
Yeah, we go back and forth on Twitter every now and again, and you gotta realize, man, he one of the ones that really, even though he say all what he's saying, he don't take it serious for real. Yeah. It's all for, like you say, and giggles. That's what he say, and giggles. So you can put the other word there. So anyway, but yeah, man, it's good to be back on with you, Jedi, man. But we're gonna go around here. D2K, man, what's been good with you, bro?
I went to go see Power Rangers last night.
How was it?
Let me just say that we've seen, Transformers, we've seen G.I. Joe, we've seen Ninja Turtles. Can't think of any other major cartoons or TV shows from the 80s and 90s that was brought back into the big screen in recent years, other than those three. And we all know how those turned out. I can honestly say that this is the first time that Hollywood went back and brought something back from the past to the present and did it right.
Wow.
What?
Yes.
Dude, I thought you was going to go a whole other way with that. You caught me off guard. Okay, so you liked it.
I thought the movie was brilliant. I thought it was excellent. It was very entertaining. It was paced very well. Like Keith was saying, there's a lot of the relationships between them is it's heavy and it's deep, but it's not too heavy to where it's oppressive. It's enough to draw you in to actually make you care about the characters to where things are happening. It's like, man, I hope things turn out okay. The actors that they chose for the Rangers were all great choices. The choice for Zordon was brilliant. And when I saw his face, I recognized it right away. And I said, I can't believe they got him to play Zordon. Bryan Cranston is Zordon in this movie. I'm like, wow. And
I am the one who knocks, right? That's him.
Yeah, yep, that's him. And I think that it should be said that the original creator of was not the original creator of the Power Rangers in general, because it started off as an anime called Super Sentai or something like that, and then he Americanized it. This guy named Haim Saban, I think that's his name. He brought it over to America and renamed the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He produced this movie, so that's the reason why the integrity of the storyline remained intact. Nice. And there's a lot that if you were a fan of Power Rangers, and I wasn't really a fan. I mean, I watched it when it was on. You know, I was on other stuff at that time. I was on like the X-Men cartoon and Spider-Man and stuff like that. And I was in high school, so I wasn't really. If I was younger, I probably would have been more into Power Rangers than I was. But I knew who all the characters were, the story, subplots, and everything. And everything was done right in this movie. And it's to the point where that nostalgia started to creep up on you at the end. You started to like, oh, here we go. This was good. It was good. It was really good. I recommend anybody who grew up in the 80s and 90s or knew about the Power Rangers to go see this. If you're a Power Rangers fan, you won't be disappointed.
Wow, that's crazy. I was thinking you was about to go a total different direction. You like me, man. I was a little bit older when Power Rangers started hitting, so I was like, man, it's like this is wannabe real life Transformers or Voltron. I was like, nah, I can't get with it. I casually peered in, but
I mean, it wasn't perfect. I mean, there was the only thing that I didn't like in the movie is the way the Megazord looked. He looked a little too default to me. Because the original Megazord, I mean, he looked kind of like Voltron, but he had a distinguishing look to it. You knew who that was, and in this one, he just looks kind of like a big robot. He doesn't look like. There's nothing. He doesn't have any distinguishing characteristics about him. Everybody else looks like how they're supposed to look. Alpha looks like he's supposed to look. He even uses his trimming. He even does that a couple times.
Okay.
All the Ranger suits look cool. Goldar looks like Goldar for the most part. It was just that kind of they could have did a little bit better with the Megazord, but that's no big deal. The Zords themselves look cool, very cool.
And that's what I want to see it. Like you said, I wasn't a big Power Rangers fan, but seeing the reboot and the new take, the way the suits look, the commercial, it caught my attention. But Keith, the one messed me up, was like, man, he actually liked it. Now that you saying you like it, I might have to go catch one of them Tuesday night cheap $6 movies and go check it out, man.
Yeah, when you bring the whole family, the whole village.
Yeah, I could bring the village. But anyway, K-Bon, you gonna stop jumping? Anyway, I still got to see Skull Island, man. So it's like, God, there's so many movies I want to see. So, but anyway, that's what's up.
Yo, I did something I wanted to add.
Go ahead. I was just gonna bring it to you anyway. So
cool. I wanted to ask you a question, man. Like, now this really bothers me in these Hollywood movies. Marvel has done this as well, and so I hate that. But did they do a lot of having to have the characters with their mask open so you can see their face? Because that always bothers me. Like I know I saw it in the trailer. When you're in the movie, did they always have their mask open or off so you can see their face when they were in their suits?
I don't know. I mean, it. If you repeat the question, because I was in the comment section, I didn't really paying attention to what you said.
So, if you guys remember, every last Spider-Man, his mask has to get ripped off. It's a Hollywood thing. They want the character's face to be the actual actor's face to be seen. Iron Man always walks. Mm-hmm. He walks around too much with his mask open. And they just have to show the actual actor's face. And when I saw in the trailers, you see a lot of the actual videos of them in their suits with their mask open, so you can see their face.
That only happens like a couple of times. Like when they're inside the actual Zords, you see their faces, but when they're in battle, then it comes down. It covers their face. Okay. If they have to look at something, they'll take the face. I mean, they can. The actual armor is within them. It's kind of like it comes out of the armor comes out of their body and attaches itself to them. So it's like a prosthesis almost.
It's
So
kind of like a Venom thing or something?
Yes, it's almost it's like symbiotic type thing. Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah. So they can control it, they can, take something off their arm or off their leg or whatever at will.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I agree with K-Bum though. It was egregious how Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, he always had to walk around with his mask open. And that one scene where I think it was Tobey Maguire, is that his name, that played the first Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yep.
When he took his mask off and everybody, I think it was on the train in part 2.
Yep.
I'm like, why would you do that? You're not supposed to, nobody supposed to know that you're Peter Parker. Like, this defeats the whole purpose. So yeah, I agree with you.
I hate when they do that, man. That's just me.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else good as far as you, K-Bum? Ask the question, but anything you did this weekend since the last podcast?
Nah, man. Just still playing the Overwatch, still playing basketball. I mean, I guess we get to that too, but I haven't done anything too crazy, man. Just getting ready for my. You say what?
That you didn't go see that Logan. We all know that.
Man, no, bro. We tried. What did we watch? Me and the wife, we watched something at home together. I'm almost finishing Luke Cage. I'm on the last episode, so I'm behind on that too.
Yeah, let's talk about that for. No, you said Luke Cage. I thought you was saying Iron Fist.
No, I haven't started Iron Fist yet. I'm on the last episode of Luke.
Nah, Luke Cage was cool. It was all right. To me, it started off. I think they killed off the wrong boss. I think what's his name?
I don't know if everybody said you don't want to give too much of it. Nah.
Oh my bad! If you ain't seen Luke Cage yet, look, man, that's about.
This is becoming egregious, man. All these shows and stuff. Man.
Yeah, man, but Iron Fist. I want to talk about that, but I'll wait until you see it, man. But anyway, have you guys seen the Dave Chappelle stand-ups? So we get to the games here in a second.
Yeah.
Have any of y'all seen them?
No, I haven't seen them.
I seen
what
half
about
of it, and
what you think?
It wasn't Dave Chappelle funny.
Yeah, it wasn't, was it? It was good though, but it was.
It was cool, but it's like cool is for other comedians. Dave Chappelle he's a different beast. I kind of felt like it was under par.
Yeah, they say the GOAT. A lot of folks call him the GOAT. Like he might surpass Richard. So
no,
not stand up. Maybe stretch.
Where's my sound effect?
Yeah, man. I seen Jedi. I seen the one where he actually had Chappelle on his shirt.
The other one with the when he talked about OJ, right?
Yeah, I seen the one when he talked about OJ all the way through. I still have to watch the second one. I got halfway through it. Now I kind of like how that one started a little bit more than the OJ one, but I still got to finish it though. But yeah, I agree with you, Jedi. It wasn't Dave Chappelle's level funny. It was good for anybody else though.
It was good, but it didn't become a classic. Like the one he did when he was talking about talking to the police officer high, and he talked about the baby on the corner selling weed. That's
killing him soft.
Killing him soft. That was his best one.
That was a beast.
And he said, "Sprinkle some crack on him. Let's get out of here." He's like, zippity doo dah. Yeah, that's my favorite one. And the one after that, where he I think he smoked he didn't smoke a cigarette in that one, but the second one after that, he was smoking a cigarette. He's kind of almost like he was partially high.
For what it's worth, I think that was.
For what it's worth, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get to what they want to talk about. They like, man, we ain't want to hear about all this stuff. So anyway, let's get into this, man. So starting with Jedi Knight, since he's been the one on hiatus for the longest. What you been gaming on, man?
I've actually been on some low-key games. I purchased a few. I purchased Street Fighter 4 for Steam, Spec Ops: The Line, and a game that I've actually been playing the most of the three that I purchased is Kingdom Rush. It's a tower defense game. Actually, I got it for free for Android for my cell phone, and I purchased it for Steam, and I've just been all over that game. It's funny because one of the very first tower defense games that I played and really noticed that I like the genre is Kill Orcs Must Die. Have you heard of it?
Or yeah, I've heard of it.
Dude, wonderful game. Great, fun game. And I really hope that when it comes to either small titles or indie titles, that Nintendo really figures out that these are also some games that they should have on their platform. You know, the tower defense games, I really like it. But yeah, anyway, I've been mostly playing Kingdom Rush. I got into Spec Ops: The Line. Really liked how that started, but once I started Kingdom Rush, it's been like, I think I've already put in like 21 hours.
Okay. All right. No, I ain't never heard of that one, man. I might have to shoot me a video or something to see what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll send you a YouTube link of the trailer. Like I said, it's a super small game, but it's super entertaining. You know, it has that replay value to it.
All right. All right. K-Bomb Tony, what you been gaming on, bro?
Man, I finally cracked that diamond level in Overwatch, and so the way Overwatch goes is I believe it's like the second to the highest level. It goes, I think it goes top 500, then it goes to like Grandmasters, and I think it's one more level, and then it's where I am. So, and I've done all that just playing solo queue. I haven't played too much with people. I've just been playing, you know, the way Overwatch competitive works is that, you know, it's 6 teams versus 6 teams. And usually what happens is a lot of people, they group up with 6 other friends and they play against people. But the cool thing with the Overwatch system is that they allow you to solo queue, which means going by yourself. And what they'll try to do is they'll try to match you with people with that are playing solo queue as well. And so you're not facing, so you don't have a bunch of random people on your team facing the whole team. They don't do that, which is great. What you do, you probably have like 2 teams of 2 and 2 other people facing like 2 teams of 2 and somebody else. And so it's pretty cool that way. I like it. And so like I said, I cracked the diamond level, which is one of the high ranks. They got a long way to go to get to, you know, top 500, but I'm still legit. So I've been playing that, putting some hours into that. I think I've put like 50 hours into that game. Not 50, yeah, 50 hours or maybe more into that game. So I think I've played that more than The Witcher. And that it's a multiplayer game. So that's, like I said before, last podcast, I'm really big with on the multiplayers. Doing that and still playing 2K. I know I've put well over 50 hours, more than 50 hours in that. But again, that's mostly due to multiplayer and being able to play against other people online. Other than that, like I said, man, I did turn Mass Effect back on. So I had 4 hours left in my trial. So I haven't played the full 10 yet. So I got 4 hours left, and I put it in. I started playing, and I got bored. So I went upstairs to eat dinner.
Don't be building us up like that to just deflate us, man. Man, you're gonna basically make me go out and buy Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been waiting for you to give your take.
Bruh.
You won't even open. You won't even break the seal, man.
Man, it's there. It's sitting upstairs right on my kitchen table, like dining room table, and this nice little GameFly package looking all pretty.
Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna go upstairs right now, get it, put it in, and let it install. I'm doing that right now.
All right, man, because I'm just going to have to go out and buy it, man, because I've been waiting on your take and what you got to say about it. Jedi, you ain't thought about getting Horizon yet, bro, with the PlayStation 4?
Nah, actually, and that's actually a game I forgot to mention. I haven't played it in about a week, though. I picked up the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. I'm mostly done with the first game. I think I'm at Act 19 now.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah, then I picked up the other games for Steam and then got completely stuck on Kingdom Rush. But yeah, that's what I'm pretty much playing now. And yeah, I'm not picking up Horizon. I don't know. It really hasn't captivated me. I think it's really those open world type games. I'm starting to think that it's just something that doesn't appeal to me as much as others. Certain open world games would, but I think generally it's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah, I was kind of in your camp. I kind of avoided like huge open world games. If it wasn't a Zelda, if it was open world, I kind of strayed away from it because of how what it asks of you to do. I don't know if I got the time to just divulge to a game like that, but this Breath of the Wild has literally changed me on that. So I might be looking at some old ones that I passed up, man. But that's what's up, man. Anyway, D2K, what you been gaming on since last Thursday?
Well, pretty much I've been kind of wilding out on wrestling games. I've been playing the WWE 2K16. They're letting you play 2K17 for free during the weekend, so I downloaded that just to try to kind of see how it was, and I didn't like it, so I deleted it right away and went back to playing 16.
Okay, so that's on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I might have to go in there and try it. Well, I'm about to. We gonna get into WrestleMania because I'm watching it today. I only watch WrestleMania. Everything else, I don't care about it. It's the only time I get into wrestling when WrestleMania is up. But anyway, okay, what else? That's it? That's the wrestling or anything else?
Just some normal stuff I normally play, like Halo and Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2, the demo.
Okay. All right. Well, for me, man, of course, I'm still playing that Zelda, but I took a break from Zelda and put back on the Snake Pass, and I'm enjoying this game, man. I really like it. It's different. Like I said last time, the way it controls, the way you manipulate the snake with the L, R, or left and right trigger. One is, the right trigger is gas. The left trigger is to restrict and grip hold of poles and whatever you're trying to climb up. And you literally got to manipulate the left analog stick like a snake to move forward. You just can't. He just ain't gonna naturally slither like that. So it's challenging, man. Right now I'm on the 4th stage, and I'm kind of stuck because I'm trying to get everything I can get in the stage. But at the same time, if you fall off the platform and off the stage, you got to start all the way over and can recollect everything if you haven't hit certain spots in the stage to as a save point. So I fell off and I was like, well, I don't feel like doing this all over again. So I went back to Zelda and completed some more shrines. So between Zelda and Snake Pass, that's basically been pretty much what I've been gaming on. So, but I'm enjoying both. I'll probably go back to Fast Racing or Fast RMX at some point. But I haven't played that in a while. So, but I haven't turned my PlayStation Xbox One on at all. Like my PlayStation 4 ain't even hooked up. My Xbox One is down here. It is only gonna come on today because we're gonna watch WrestleMania through the WWE network. So it's gonna get, well, my son playing it, but I just been on the Switch here lately, man. I ain't no shade at none of those platforms. Just I ain't turned the Wii U on, so I just been gaming on that. Yeah, it ain't no reason. You're right. But anyway, man, let's jump into this first topic.
Hey, hold on, man.
Yeah.
Before we jump in, man, I just want you Level and D2K to just check out the comment section. Just my boy Lurking Ghoul trying to say something important. I just want to make sure y'all read it.
I've been watching your correspondence with him in the comment section.
I'm just saying, man. She's just trying to say something real important for the podcast. I'm cool. You go ahead, Level. I just want to make sure you saw that. So that's it.
Who was messing with you in the last podcast?
Man, y'all know. Don't do that.
Explain it all when you messed up.
Don't do that.
Yeah, D2K, you know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Don't do that.
What word could you not say, man? What was that?
Modern warfare.
He's like, that's why you started off the podcast.
Yes.
With that. I didn't even know why you started off. I didn't. That's why you was laughing. It went over my head. I forgot all about it.
Oh, he caught it.
Yeah, we clowned you pretty good, man. But we all did it. You made us all do it at some point in the show. But anyway, let's get into this, man. So I don't know if y'all saw my last video that wasn't a podcast. I was sitting at the crib and I was thinking about this, and you know, this is real problematic right now. I'm real concerned with the Switch is voice chat, earphones, the fact that supposedly you can't do Bluetooth connection, and the Pro controller doesn't have a headphone jack. The Joy-Con grip doesn't have a headphone jack, and the Switch itself is the only thing that has the headphone jack. So also, you know, with the ideal around this app, this phone app that will allow you supposedly to do voice chat, and you had to do it through the phone, but from my understanding, you can control it through the Switch itself. My question is, I was thinking, like, is USB Type-C capable of running, doing earphones? So I looked it up, and I saw some headphones that ran off of USB Type-C. And my question to you guys is, do you think that this is the direction that Nintendo might be going to answer the headphone question or concerns? Will it be USB-C based? Since Jedi Knight been gone the longest, I let him start off, and then we go D2 and then K-Bump.
Yeah, I've seen that video, and I thought it was a good idea on your part, based on what Nintendo has done. I'm not sure if Nintendo themselves have necessarily thought about that situation that way. In all reality, I have no idea what Nintendo is looking to do. It's a possibility. I actually have a question on that. With the new the iPhones, I know they don't have the 3.5-inch jack anymore, the input. What do they use? Are they using USB Type-Cs?
Yeah.
Okay, then it could be a possibility that that's the direction that Nintendo is taking. My personal opinion, though, is maybe they should have stuck with the standard headphone jack, only because if you have a standard headphone jack on the Switch itself, then in order to use, you know, a set of headphones for your controller, for example, you're gonna have to get another set of headphones. You can't use the same headphones because the connection is different.
Right.
I mean, that's maybe a minor issue for certain people. Like the worst thing you would have to do is go out and buy USB Type-C headphones, but it would have been more convenient because, you know, the standard is the regular jacks. But yeah, I thought that was a good theory on your part. You know, it could be likely.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought about that too, Jedi, with the fact that the Switch has a headphone 1/4-inch, 3.5 1/4-inch jack, analog signal, and you know, the Pro controller and the Joy-Con grips all have Type-C charging connect. So yeah, I thought about that too, and I was like, man. And then the fact, one person brought up the fact that did Nintendo, like you said, even think forward enough to put the necessary, I don't know how would you word it, but the things that allow the Pro controller to pick up the signal to even allow for the earphones to work that way. So yeah, you bring up some interesting points, but I'm just curious what y'all thought. But D2K, what would you, how would you take, what's your take on this?
Since I don't own a Switch, I don't really have one. It's not an issue to me. I mean, the Switch has a headphone jack, correct?
The Switch does, but how in dock mode, the problem is when you have it in dock mode, how are you going to access it to do voice chat? Am I going to have to run an extension card for my headphones to my Switch? And that's problematic. If I jump or somebody walk past and foot get caught up, they can yank my Switch out the dock. There's a whole bunch of problems with that, and it supposedly doesn't have Bluetooth connection. And you know, they say everything is going to be done through the phone. That's what most folks believe, and that's problematic too. So because there can be some latency in some situations where it's not running smooth and streamlined if you're using another device as a go-between to control the audio that's going on in the game. How's all this going to work? So I was thinking maybe the Type C connection on the actual Pro controller and Joy-Cons Joy-Con grip, the chargeable Joy-Con grip can actually be utilized like the iPhone, like Jedi Knight just said, and maybe they have a headphone that's going to be running through the Type C connection and get headphones connectability through that. So just getting your thoughts on if do you think that's a possibility, or do you think Nintendo ain't even thought about that?
Well, I think it is very possible that they didn't think about, because there's a lot of things that they didn't think fully through with this console, but that's an option to them. That's an option that's available, that they can do that. And I think it's what they're probably going to have to do, because trying to come up with something else would probably be more hassle than they really need at this point, because there's other more important matters they need to attend to. So that would be a relatively simple thing to implement, because it already has that ability built into the Joy-Cons and the Pro controller. So it would probably be a lot easier for them to go that route. I don't think that's what they're going to do right away. I think that's the reason why they talked about the whole cell phone thing, as far as using that for voice chat, because whatever that they're planning on doing, maybe down the line yet. I mean, they may not be ready to deploy that just yet. They may have a specific answer to this question. It's just not ready to be deployed just yet. So that's the reason why they said, well, we can do this as a stopgap until we get everything situated later on.
Yeah, it ain't a really huge concern of mine, but with the momentum that the Switch has, this could become problematic if it's not approached right. If the app is the only way to do it, if the app is not working ideally, the ideal way, that can be a problem for Nintendo. So
well, it's not gonna become a problem until you have a major game that's selling well, that voice chat is necessary.
Splatoon. That's what I'm saying. Splatoon 2, that's one of the major features people want in this Splatoon. I'm doing K-Bomb, doggone it. In this Splatoon,
yes, strikes again.
In this Splatoon that didn't happen in the original, that was one of the major gripes. Was yes, the game is great. Yes, the game is fun, but it's missing a vital element, and that is voice chat.
But you know what? That was more of a pet peeve than anything else. I mean, people complained about it, but they bought the game anyway, and they played the game anyway. They enjoyed it anyway. So I don't think that would stop Splatoon 2 from being successful. It would just make people annoyed again, but they're going to buy the game anyway.
Yeah, I agree, but you got Mario Kart. Well, you could say the same thing about that, but I think it is a few sales that Nintendo did miss because of the lack of voice chat as well. So, but K-Bomb 20, give your thoughts, and then we can move on from this.
Well, for one thing, I'll go on record and say I think Nintendo didn't fully know what they were trying to get out of the Switch when it comes to some of these smaller, well, on the surface seem smaller things, but they're bigger problems that could be revealed later. That comes with the sound. The fact that there is a headphone jack does make it counterproductive when you're thinking about the USB-C. The thing is, when you look at the other competitors, and Xbox has been doing this since the 360. PlayStation was not, but I believe Xbox was, but they all have a way to, even though they're tied to a TV and not mobile, which is another reason why Nintendo should have it anyway, but they all have a way to tie together the sound and the controllers. They all do that. Like I said, Xbox has been doing that since 360. PlayStation been doing it since the PS4. And the fact that even right now they haven't announced anything like that, and the fact that they didn't give you the easy out with the Bluetooth makes me think that, and saying that the phone is the solution, makes me think that they didn't really think this through, because the phone cannot be, because you're predicating. I'm trying to use a big word like Jedi Knight. Predicating that everyone would be able to have a phone that wants to do chat, will have a phone to be able to do that chat, which is a problem. My thing is, even if the chat is bad by plugging through the joystick, I think you should still be able to allow someone to do that. And that's something that should be available at launch. That shouldn't be anything that's down the line. It should have been, a forethought instead of, just thinking about it now. Behind, after the game console releasing, you're like, okay, well, how can we prepare ourselves for that? So it makes me kind of think that this wasn't really on their plate of things, which is, even the PS4 now, when the PS4 launched, every PS4 had a headphone jack. People don't use it, which annoys me when you're playing these multiplayer games, but it had it. And the fact that Nintendo doesn't really give you that solution out of the box makes me. It kind of puts them. It doesn't put the whole system behind the time. Let's be real. This is just. It's a knot. It's a check on their list that they're not fulfilling like the other companies are doing.
It's a legit concern.
It's a concern.
And also, it also can have a serendipitous side effect to it, because the whole point of the Switch is that you want people who already own mobile devices to put that down.
Yes.
And pick up the Switch.
I agree.
But now you're basically telling people that you got to use your tablet / smartphone, whatever you use, in conjunction with the Switch to do something that the Switch should do in the first place. So that kind of gives a confusing message to, the casual gamers that are going to be buying the Switch, the casual millennials that are buying the Switch. Gamers like us understand it, but then they're like, okay, well, what, you know how people are. So
if I'm using my phone, just put it on my phone then, right? Make it so complicated.
Exactly. So that's something that's that's something that they didn't need. They're making problems for themselves they don't need.
Counterproductive.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that.
Go ahead.
That was, I wouldn't call it an issue, but more of a concern with the USB Type-C. I think your theory is possible. I think that if that's what Nintendo was trying to do, maybe they should have just went with the standard. And to D2K's point, when you have the casuals, you need to give them a reason to put certain devices down and pick up the Nintendo Switch. How do you have a tablet-like console that, for all intents and purposes, doesn't even give you a tablet-like experience? I'm not big on, internet browsing and all of that, but once the Zelda aspect of the Nintendo Switch begins to fade, what is going to gravitate people to the Switch outside of gamers? Because we know that Nintendo also cares about the casual crowd. If you have a tablet-like device, but you can't do anything that a tablet or a cell phone does, then what's really the point of it? And if that's the case, then outside of gaming on the go, what was the point of actually making a device like that and then having a compromise on power, for example? It's hard. It's a hard sell to have a $70 Pro controller and you don't even have a headphone jack, or you have to buy, $25, $30 headphones for, to get that experience. I think that there are certain things that Nintendo they just have to get right.
I still think that there's more to the story regarding the Switch and Nintendo's plans in the near future and in the long-term future. I think that there's something that they haven't told us about, because they don't seem to be rattled at all about any of the problems that have been talked about with the Switch thus far. It seems like they're happy with the numbers, and that goes without saying. But about the chatter and negative chatter about the real issues that are there, they're just like taking it in stride. Like, yep, we understand that. Yep, we know about the scratches. Yep, we know about the game cards not reading. Yep, sure is. Yep, keep on complaining. It doesn't seem like they have that attitude. Like I know something you don't know. You know,
Well,
it kind of feels like that. There's something. I'm not gonna. We can that'll spawn go into a million different directions, but that's kind of how I feel like they're.
I agree with you though, D2K. They do seem to have a different swagger this time around. It could be simply because it's been a success, but I would say they've been have this type of swag around the Switch even before they even started selling it. They had like a different swag about themselves concerning the Switch. And this could lead into one of our topics, but we don't have to go here just yet. But Reggie has been hinting at E3 and what they are saying is going to be a huge present. So we'll get there in a second. But sticking with this, I'm with you, Jedi Knight. And I'm hoping D2K is right because he right about the swag. They got a whole confidence that we ain't seen with Nintendo in a long time. And like I said, I feel like the confidence was shown way before the Switch was ever released to the market. They showed a lot of confidence with it. So, but I'm hoping, like you said, man, that because even though I might not have a problem with going to buy, and this might be my first time going to buy a $30 or $40 set of earphones if it is going to go through the Type-C connection, for the casual person who buys the Switch that wants to play the games and get that handheld iPhone, Samsung tablet experience while enjoying Nintendo games and other games, this could be problematic because it could be it could be what they deem as false advertising, which I don't think Nintendo has advertised it as a tablet experience, but because it's so in line with that type of device, you'll automatically assume that it can do some of those things a casual mind would.
You don't know how many people that have come up to me to talk about the Nintendo Switch initially saying, man, I can't wait to get that Switch. I'm going to get rid of my old tablet and I'm going to use this. And I'm like, no, about that. Yeah. Might want to get rid of it just yet.
I went into the barbershop. I go every 2 weeks, man. I took the Switch the last time I went, and I didn't take it this time. And I got asked about where it was, and man, they want to see it. And the barber's like, dude, I'm still really debating to get one, man, because after he touched it, he's like, dude, I want one bad. I'm ready to drop this $299 on. He said, man, why didn't you bring it? I was like, well, I came earlier, so I thought I'd get in early, so I didn't think I needed it. But he's like, bro, you should have brought that. So the interest is out there. But like you said, Jedi, if people buy it and is expecting one type of experience to be there and it's not there, that could be problematic. So
yeah. And I also agree with what D2K said as well. Hopefully that is the case with Nintendo and they're not feeling a level of concern. But I do think that what K-Bon said is a bit relevant as well. You know, Nintendo needs to well, let me backtrack real quick. When it comes to the headphone jack, that's not really a problem for me. And I think most gamers, if it's a situation where they would have to buy headphones, but if it's a situation where you have to use your cell phone in order to do that voice chat and get proper, you know, Nintendo Live type internet connectivity, that's more of, you know, an issue for me. You know, I really hope it's nothing, you know, nonsensical like that.
And even with that, Keith put down in the comment section that if we are using the phone for chatting and we have headphones on for the chatting, where is the game music coming from? Is it coming from the Switch through the phone into my ears? How am I getting?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We don't know. And Keith brought this up. That's Keith Norris. Everybody that might not know who we're talking about. He's on father mode, so he's here in text mode, but not in voice mode. But yeah, he brought this up before. How is it going to work with, like you just said, K-Bum, me talking and the music playing? Because that's a part of the timing. You need to hear them, because I hate playing a game on mute. and I need to hear stuff. So how is that gonna work? Is it gonna be sync? Is it gonna be latency? Am I gonna be hearing something later than I'm actually doing it? Like all these need to be answered.
I didn't even think about that. That could be a huge problem.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. That latency could be a problem with when the actual sound shows up on your phone versus the action on the screen. Whereas, you know, that's seamless when you got it hooked into your controller, or you got the switch and you get that, it'll be seamless because it's producing it all in one setting. But if it's running through the app of your phone, and sometimes when I stream stuff from my phone, like when I hook up through my phone through YouTube, sometimes the voice be off. The speed of it don't do this all the time, but sometimes it get off sync. And I'm wondering, with this coming through your phone and you trying to chat and all this, and you going through a secondary device or a third device, I don't know how you would put it. This could be problematic, man. I don't know. It wasn't a concern at first, like Jedi Knight. I wasn't really thinking about it because it wasn't a huge concern, and it's still not a huge concern for me. But for those guys who want this experience and want it to be on point, this is a big. I see why Nia and all the other ones about, hey man, Nintendo, look, we with you, but you need to give us more answers. Now I get it. These things need to be answered because the Switch is popular and these games are starting to come. We got Splatoon coming, we got Mario Kart 8 coming. All these games, hopefully they're gonna have voice chat. They got to by this time. They can't not have voice chat at this stage in the game, man. They gotta have it. So, man, that needs to be answered.
Yeah, and that's why I said I agree with K-Bomb. It's to the point now the Switch has been out for a month, and we still have these type of questions. You know, certain things that we may not have personally thought of, but when other gamers, you know, kind of give their 2 cents, it's like, yeah, you know what? I didn't even think of that. And it would be a damn shame if, in one aspect, Nintendo can be innovative and forward-thinking in respects to having a home console that you can get on the go, yet at the very same time have a level of cognitive dissonance to where you still don't have voice chat properly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to think through the ideal of the USB Type-C connection. But like I said, I saw after I made it out and looking at it, I saw some possible holes in even my theory. So we'll see. So let's keep this thing going. Of course, y'all know WrestleMania 33 is today, literally an hour or so away. I shall be watching it, and I'm not a wrestling fan. I'm a character fan. I like The Rock. I like Stone Cold. I like the Attitude Era. I've kind of been out the loop of wrestling for basically a decade and a half, maybe even 2 decades. But my boy is back. Goldberg is back, and Goldberg looked right this time. I was nervous because he looked flabby the first time he came back. He couldn't wrestle more than a minute. But I'm curious, man. I want to approach this. First of all, what is it about WrestleMania that even grown men like ourselves, knowing that it's fake, we still choose to tune in and check it out? What is it about it? I go K-Bomb. If you watch it or not, I don't know if you watch it.
No. Yeah, so I don't actively watch WrestleMania as in the event, but I do try to make sure I catch up on it, afterwards. And I don't know. It's just, to me, WrestleMania is what the Super Bowl is to football. Mm-hmm. That's how I see it. It's where all the some of the storyline that's been going on for 6, 8, a year, 2 years have been going, and they all collide all in this one big event. And so I think it's the magnitude that is put on WrestleMania from the wrestling standpoint, and that, it's a lot of weight put on that event, and it's a lot of storyline that's all the completion to the storyline all collides in WrestleMania. So I think that's one of the biggest things, and it's exciting. It's a lot of exciting things. I also grew up in the Attitude Era, and Goldberg was my man, and my roommates in college actually were big wrestling fans, and they actually took me to my first wrestling event. They had a what was that, the Royal Rumble here in my home city, and they took me there, and I had fun doing that. But we watched Raw every Monday, and when I was with them on Thursdays, we watched SmackDown, and like I said, majority of the storylines and those all events all accumulated on this one big day. So I think that's one of the big reasons why WrestleMania is what it is, and why it's even knowing what it is, it's easy to get excited about it.
Okay, D2K.
Well, I have to get a little bit more deep in this because I'm a wrestling mark. So, my admiration for wrestling spans, pretty much my entire lifespan since I was 6 years old. I I remember the first I was a fan of the AWA when I was young because
you going back to Ric Flair on him, man. Dang.
Yeah, well that's more the NWA, but the AWA was based out of Minnesota, and that's the area where I'm not from Minnesota, but I'm in the Midwest area. So, Minnesota, Chicago, Milwaukee, that area. We saw a lot of the AWA stuff, and I was a fan of that because my mother, the guy she was dating at the time, he watched it, so I watched it with them. And then one day I was flipping the channels, and I turned on WWF Superstars of Wrestling, and the match that I saw was Tito Santana against Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental title. And from that point on, I was hooked. WWF. And WrestleMania is like the Super Bowl. I mean, it's like the World Series. It's like the NBA Finals. It's like Stanley Cup. It's like all that stuff. It's the culmination of storylines. It's, you have the celebrities there. You have surprises. I mean, WrestleMania started off huge, being in Madison Square Garden, and you had a lot of celebrities like Muhammad Ali and Billy Martin and Cyndi Lauper and the Rockettes and Liberace and all that type of stuff. The second year was kind of weird. They had WrestleMania in 3 different cities simultaneously. But then WrestleMania 3 is where it really arrived. That's when the professional wrestling, WWF, became big time.
Is that when they had it outside? Is that the one?
No, that was in the Pontiac Silverdome. And that was...
Hey, well, you are just a library of information, bro. Like, man, you be killing me with like stuff I'm like, this dude know this. Like, geez. Okay, go ahead, man.
Yeah, that was...
This is amazing.
I mean, it had a legitimate indoor attendance record of 93,173 people in the Pontiac Silverdome, which was crazy because there was a huge snowstorm going on at the same time. So the fact that it was able to get that many people in there was amazing. But the reason why you had that many people in there was to see Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
And it was like the storyline wise was built that Andre the Giant had never been defeated in 15 years. And he had never been slammed, and him and Hulk Hogan were like brothers, and he turned heel, and he joined with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and it was like, oh, how can you turn on me? And it was like Hulk Hogan is going to die because he can't be Andre the Giant, And then when he slammed Andre the Giant, the pop in that building was so huge, you thought the roof was going to explode. I never heard people cheer.
Watching that match. I seen that match.
It was amazing. And it just kept going on from there year after year. Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6. You had 2 baby faces at the height of their popularity. Hulk Hogan was the heavyweight champion. The Warrior was the Intercontinental champion. They've never done that before. And it was one of the best matches ever. And you had like the Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12, wrestled for an hour. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in like 3 WrestleManias headlining, WrestleMania 15, WrestleMania 17, and WrestleMania 19. In like Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. That was a huge match. I mean, you had 2 clash of 2 different eras, and just these big things that you don't normally see, and it's something special to. If you're a wrestling fan and you have children, you can take your kids to see a WrestleMania and say, yeah, I remember when I saw, Hulk Hogan against the Warrior. I saw, The Rock against, Austin. And now you see matches with guys that you don't even recognize anymore, but it's still a huge event. So, it's just something that's really special to watch, even if you're not a wrestling fan.
Yeah. So, man, bro, you D2K, you might need to your profession might need to be good wrestling, not gaming.
Hey, bruh, level. You should have let him go first, and we could have ended the whole topic.
Yeah, how am I supposed to follow behind
I
that?
know, Jedi. I was thinking in, but hey, man, dude, this dude. Anyway, go ahead, Jedi. Let's see what this, man. If you can add anything to it.
Yeah, I haven't really followed wrestling for about, I would say almost 20 years, 15 years.
Wow.
I grew up a Owen Hart fan. Rest in peace. After he passed, I started following Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That was back when he went by that name and it wasn't Triple H. Back when he used to come down to the ring and do a bow, right?
Wow.
And Sable was his manager.
Exactly.
The wife of Brock Lesnar, by the way.
And
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew that.
Then the Attitude Era came, and then you had the Generation X, which I think that was like the highlight of wrestling in general. You had, Generation X, you had the New World Order, you had ECW, like the Wrestling Wars. That was epic, man. The 90s was
Monday Night Wrestling. Right.
Yeah, but the 90s, that was a decade to remember there. But yeah, I think that to what D2K said, how WrestleMania is so special, even for a person like myself, for example. I won't be watching it, but there are a lot of people who've like stopped watching wrestling on a daily basis that could easily, go and pay for a pay-per-view and watch WrestleMania and may not even know the characters, but kind of get a sense of nostalgia because you usually have, different characters from different generations. Like I may not know who the new superstars are, but I more than certainly know who Stone Cold is, who The Rock is, who Goldberg is, who Goldust is, and all of those people that they usually bring and intertwine with the new people. And it is like one of those special events. One that I can really associate that with is baseball and the playoffs and the World Series. I never watch baseball on TV during the regular season, but when the playoffs start, it's like it's a different animal. It's so exciting to watch it during that time.
Right.
Yeah, so you do get that aura around wrestling, particular type of event.
Yeah, man. You're right. I'm like that with baseball too, Jedi. I don't watch it. Us being a Cardinals nation, I don't watch it until playoffs come, especially if the Cardinals end. Then we. But you're right, man. Yeah. So, me, I go back. I would say my older brother got me into. I remember WWF used to come on Saturday nights every now and again, and I remember watching watching Hogan, and I can't think of the other guy's name, but they were in a steel cage match, and they showed it on a Saturday night, and Hogan and him going back and forth. And that was my first real introduction to wrestling. Then they had Coco Bear and all the other Junkyard Dog, and Hogan had the Saturday cartoon where he was Bobby the Brain Heenan and all the bad people. He would go and eat your vitamins and say your prayers.
Yeah,
but
take your steroids.
I grew out.
Smoke cocaine.
I grew out of it. But then going over my grandpa's house, he was an avid. Him and my grandmother was avid wrestler watchers. So that's when I came to know WCW, Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen and all that. So when I would be over there with him, I remember him, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Ric Flair had like an Iron Man's match where it went almost like an hour and 20 minutes or something. And they were just wrestling, match, flipping. Ric Flair had that signature flop he would do, and how he would come off the corner belt and just fall to the ground.
So when he flip over the
and
top
roll
rope,
over the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. So I kind of got into it again, but then it kind of creeped back out. It got too corny too, especially that era where when whole WWE or WWF through that phase where they just went ultra cartoony, ultra
yeah, they had some really terrible gimmicks. I mean, like during the mid, one of the major reasons for that is that Vince really couldn't keep his eye on what he was doing because he was being investigated by the federal government around that time. He really couldn't put his all into that. So there was just a lot of stupid things going on, like the Goon and Knuckleball Schwartz and Doink the Clown and the Duke the Dumpster, Dross, that type of stuff. Yeah. It was really stupid stuff.
Yeah, but Attitude Era, when the Monday Night Wars and Jedi Knight hit it right on the nail, when the Generation X and NWA, when Hogan showed up with Nash and Scott Hall, and then the Goldberg showed up, and then The Rock. That's what got me back to watching wrestling. Goldberg, and then The Rock and Stone Cold's interaction, like when The Rock threw Stone Cold over the bridge and threw his hardcore belt over the bridge with him, and he said, and he had to go up Jabroni Road and check into SmackDown Hotel and all that, and then Stone Cold came to the ring with that beer truck and just holds. That was like, dude, to this day, I still go back on YouTube and watch those videos. To me, Goldberg, Stone Cold, and I would pay more to The Rock. The Rock is what got me back. The way he can talk on the mic, his mic skills was second to none. And that era, like Jedi said, was, and K-Bum, because we was all at college at the same time. It wasn't nothing for us to be around the TV watching wrestling.
Yep.
It wasn't nothing for us to be jumping from Monday Night Nitro to Monday Night Raw and seeing Nitro saying what's about to happen on Raw next. And I remember when Shane McMahon showed up on Monday Night Nitro and said he bought the show. Like, these was, even though this is all fake far as what's going on in the ring, it was some realness about what was going on between those two companies and then how they were warned. It was real. And to see Shane show up in that ring in WCW ring was like jaw dropping, man. It was like everybody remember where they was when they saw that. Like,
that was like one of those, who shot JR, no pun intended, moments. Like you just knew, like you said, you knew where you were when it happened. You knew everybody was watching this because that had never been done before, to have a live simulcast with two competing companies, even though they hadn't been bought at that point.
Right.
On two different channels at the same time. You see Vince McMahon on Raw, you turn the channel to TNT, you see Monday Nitro, you see Vince McMahon in the ring, like, whoa. If you didn't know what was going on, you're like, wait, hold on.
Yeah. And
then Shane McMahon walks out there and say, I just bought the company from you, Vince. And I'm like, wow, this is unreal.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that was an era. And I think when you hear the names of a Goldberg or a Triple H or a Stone Cold and The Rock, it just forces you, or Hogan, or especially Macho Randy Savage, all them, it forces you to tune back in, even though it's fake. Brock Lesnar, it's fake, but it's something about the storylines and the drama and the development, and it like K-Bum said, all coming to a head at WrestleMania. I want to see. I can't miss WrestleMania. I don't care about the rest, but we always get it for WrestleMania.
It's actually on right now, but
the pre-show, right?
Yeah, pre-show. They just had the cruiserweight match was actually really good.
Okay, yeah, my boy about to come over here in a second. We're gonna load it up once we get off here. But let me ask this, and we go to our last topic. What is the greatest wrestling game of all time, in your opinion? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna start with K-Bum, Jedi, then you D2. K-Bum, what was the greatest, if you was into these, what was your favorite wrestling game of all time?
So
and you can have an honorable mention. You can have one in the honorable mention.
haven't played a bunch of wrestling games. I know I've played some. I know I played some back on the Nintendo Super Nintendo days. Didn't really play any again really until the PS2 era, PS3 era. But I, I'm gonna take it way off the beaten path, and no one's gonna say this because this is my personal favorite. Because people may not even remember what this is. The new millennials are not gonna know what this is. But for me, it was my favorite wrestling game. Do you guys remember those Tecmo handheld little games with the little image print on them, and they had
Yeah,
It's more like the Tiger Electronics.
yes, the
yeah,
Tiger
like the
Electronics.
Tiger Electronics.
Yes, that was my favorite wrestling game. I don't know what it was. I have no idea what it was, but I know I played that game all the time. I know no one else is going to say that was their best. But for me, like I said, I didn't play a bunch of wrestling games.
Was it
For me,
was it just general wrestlers, or was it like a
No, it was
WCW or WWF?
it was WWF.
Because I had a
had Hulk
couple of
Hogan on the
those.
cover.
Okay, because I had one. I had it was a WrestleMania. I had two WrestleManias. I had it was a real small one. It was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. That's all you can pick. And
Yeah,
then I had another one that was a little bit bigger, where you were Hulk Hogan. You had like three levels. Like at the bottom, it was like the Big Boss Man, and then the next level was like Macho Man, and the next level was Andre the Giant or something like that. You had to beat them and then go up the ladder. Those are the ones I remember.
yeah. I don't know which one. I know it was yellow. The buttons were yellow. I know exactly. The buttons were yellow, and it had Hulk Hogan on the cover, and it had Ultimate Warrior on the cover, and he had like purple. The things around his arm I think were purple, but the buttons were yellow. I remember that game. That was my personal favorite because I played that game right before we had tablets and everything like that and cell phones. We had Tiger Electronics.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
Honorable mention. It would be one of the SmackDown series. I know when they first allow you to do your own intros and create your own characters. I remember playing that in college. So I don't know which SmackDown it was, but it was the SmackDown series when they allow you to do your own intros and create your own character. So I remember we created like Goku and all kind of crazy stuff. So we had Vegeta wrestling Goku and anything you could imagine. And I had the most fun with my buddies doing that. So it was I don't know which SmackDown it was. I can't remember. Maybe whatever came out in like 2004, 2005. But I know it was the one that just allow you to create your own intro music and your own characters and stuff like that.
Okay. Jedi Knight.
My favorite wrestling game of all time has to be WCW versus NWO. For the 64, I think it was sold out.
Yeah.
That's my all-time favorite wrestling game. I know that they had different iterations of it, like that game engine. WWF ultimately you had like WrestleMania 2000.
AKI Asmic.
Yeah, but that was the very first one, and it was it transformed the wrestling game for me. WCW versus NWO sold out was just perfect. My honorable mention goes back to my childhood. It was on the arcade, a game called Wrestle War. Sega made it. They had different characters that were reminiscent of like Demolition and Hulk Hogan, and then you played as like this generic guy, and you went against other wrestlers. But at the time, that game was so advanced to me. I could never get past the guy that reminded me of Hulk from Demolition. I remember going to the local video. It wasn't a Blockbuster, but it was like a store similar to like a Blockbuster, the video store. And there they had the arcade game there, and always taking my quarters in there and either playing that game or Shadow Dancer. And,
no, that's my man,
you
just opened up a can of worms with that boy.
I've spent so many quarters on.
Man, Shadow Dancer was legit.
Yeah, man, it was.
Okay. D2K.
I mean, it's been said in the comments section already, but I'll just go ahead and repeat it. WWF No Mercy was absolutely perfect. It was the pinnacle of the engine created by AKI Asmec. It actually started with a game called Virtual Pro Wrestling, which was released in Japan. And if you actually play Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, you see a lot of characters that are part of New Japan and a lot of the Japanese wrestling federations on there. And you see American wrestlers in there that wrestle in Japan frequently. Like you see Stan Delarian Hansen, you see Vader, you see Kamala, characters like that are in the actual game. And then the first time they actually brought it over here was WCW versus the World for the original PlayStation, and that was when you really got your feet wet. Like, wow, this is something else. And then you had the WCW versus NWO World Tour on the N64. That was the first N64 version. Then you had WCW Revenge. Then you had WWF 2000. Then you had No Mercy. And then that was the last time they used that engine for WWF games. And then they started using that engine for the Def Jam games.
Yeah. I didn't want to go there, but yeah,
that as well as I think that they made a game called Ultimate Muscle or something like that. They used the same engine. But yeah, that WrestleMania or WWF No Mercy was the best. Had the best creative wrestler. The engine was tight. I mean, you literally could build a character from scratch. I mean, you can literally build. I mean, they basically broke it down to what you can do with your pinky finger on that game, and that as far as my honorable mention, it's tough because there's so many games out there. I mean, I'm gonna try to pick a non-WWF wrestling game as my honorable mention. I would say probably it would have to be Tecmo Wrestling for the NES.
Okay.
Tecmo games, period, were legit on the NES. Whether it was Tecmo Super Bowl or Tecmo Basketball or whatever. But Tecmo Wrestling was awesome because you had these characters that had a lot of moves that, to me, it felt more like a game that was based off of NWA characters. You had a guy that was like Ric Flair. You had a guy that was like one of the Road Warriors. You had a guy that was like Steamboat. So it was I like that. And then when you do your super moves, if you had like low energy when you did your super moves, it would go to those cut scenes.
Yeah,
like you see somebody doing a power something. I'm like, stuff like that is exciting when you look here. Like I want to keep doing that move over and over and over just to troll you. That was stuff like that was fun. I wish they would do stuff like that in games today, but they don't. But yeah, that's my honorable mention.
Okay. Hold up. Somebody just texted me. Okay, so yeah, man, you just stole my main one. WWF. It was a WE. No Mercy.
Yeah.
Well, to me, because Jedi said the truth. Like, to me, the starting point for me, even though D2K just gave us that historical run through of how that engine started. WCW versus NWO.
You gotta be kidding me! I'm sorry. I'm watching WrestleMania. Dude, they're having an Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They just got rid of the Big Show almost immediately.
He probably gonna come into the main. He probably gonna be somewhere in the main show.
This is supposed to be. They said this is his last WrestleMania. He came out and said this is gonna be his. Oh no! Now that he got hit. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna be able to concentrate because they're doing some crazy stuff right now, man. What are they doing? Oh, what are they doing? Oh, now they just eliminated Braun Strowman. That's the other dude I picked to win the thing. I'm like, oh, forget it. I don't know. This is silly.
So yeah, No Mercy was my. I was saying No Mercy was my favorite, but Jedi Knight said it. WCW versus NWO was a game changer for me. Like, it made wrestling games go to a whole nother level to where I didn't care about playing Mario and Zelda. Like that's all I was playing was WCW versus NWO. Me and my brother, I have Kevin Nash doing the power bomb 4 and 5 times, throwing them over the ropes, all kind of stuff. And the final boss wasn't actually a wrestler. It was some weird. I don't even know what the name of the dude was, but it took a while to get to him. So that's my heart. But my favorite was No Mercy. The way that you can build a character like D2K said, man. Every move you can have, every special you can have. I think it was like 3 to 4 special moves, depending on how you helped how you did the direction pad. And I had Jericho's music. That's when Y2J had music at first. Well, it was not the first because that was 2000, but I had his intro music. I had the glove of Kane, and I had a pimp with glasses and a full suit. He had on the pimp. What was that dude that was a pimp?
Godfather.
Yeah, the Godfather suit. It was white.
Like the whole train.
I remember that. Yeah, I had him in that a full white suit, pimp suit with shades on, with the hand of Kane, and he came out to Chris Jericho's music. And when he was standing in the ring, he'd just grab his glove like Kane and pull it down, and it was so real, man. And dude, I couldn't get handled with nobody with him. I would handle anybody with that dude. But
did you take your character, even though your character was at a normal size, you put their weight at like 600 pounds so they couldn't be slammed?
I don't remember. I probably did. He wasn't the tallest. I didn't like him being so tall, but I think I did make his weight pretty high.
That's my nephew used to do that to me. He was like, "Why can't I slam you? You all small." But I looked, they put their weight like 600 pounds. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah. But my honorable mention is Def Jam Vendetta. Because that was the other one that I remember. That was my college days, man. I remember going up to a few of my friends' houses. And that's what, and K-Bum know this, that's what made the GameCube relevant in those spaces, because if it wasn't a PlayStation or Xbox, it didn't get no respect in them circles. But when I brought Def Jam Vendetta and hooked all them 4 game cube controllers up, the girls wanted to play. So the dudes had to give me respect because I was getting the girls involved, and we'd be all in each other's dorms or up in one of our friends' apartments. Playing Def Jam Vendetta, and and then I brought Mario Kart, and those were the 2 games, and it made the PlayStation get unhooked, and it got dust on the corner. But I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. But that was some of the most fondest memories that I had of in gaming was WWF, No Mercy, and Def Jam Vendetta. So let's move on, man. I want to hit this topic, or we can table it. It's however y'all want to do, because I know we get close to where I'm going to have to get off here. And I got about 20 minutes I'm going to have to get off. So let's do this, man. We started talking about E3 a little bit earlier. I said we can kind of table it. But I want to come back to this way, man. This year, E3 is going to be opened up to the public. And we were talking about it when we were talking about Nintendo with the whole headset. Nintendo seems to be very confident about E3, and they seem to be happy about the idea of it being open to the public and saying that they're going to have a big presence there. My question is, how should third-party companies and the big 3 and third-party companies approach this E3 with the shakeup in how they're doing it? I'm gonna start with D2K, and I'm gonna jump to K-Bum, and I'm gonna end with Jedi Knight. Go ahead, D2K. How do you think the big 3 should approach it with the public being invited in this time?
That's an interesting question, because normally the third parties really basically just want to go out there and flex their muscle, and what we've seen in recent years is that third parties have basically shown us trailers of things that are in development that won't see the light of day for many years, and some of the things that they show turn out to be vaporware. So now, with it being open up to the public, you're going to have a lot more substance at the show than fluff. Otherwise, you're going to look shady sitting up there with a bunch of videos playing on video screens and not enough actual games to play that they can't play already. So this could be for the third party. This actually it could work against them, especially the ones that aren't prepared or they just want to use a lot of smoke and mirrors to trick people to thinking they have a lot on the table when they actually don't. I think this might actually expose a lot of people who have been perpetrators for the past couple of years. But for the people who actually are trying to bring it, this might actually solidify things for them. If you actually do have a lot of games that are, going to be released in the next year and a half, and they're far enough along to where you can actually have playable demos, then this is great for you because this could make, like, for instance, if Nintendo has a lot of games in development that people can play there at the show, then that can make a lot of people say that have been on the fence about the Switch to say, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it now. If Microsoft has a lot of games for Scorpio that will be available at launch, playable at E3, then people say, okay, I'm getting the Scorpio when it comes out this fall, this holiday season or whatever. So, I think that's really how you have to play it. I mean, the people who actually have something to show are going to do well in that format, and the people who don't have enough to show, they're going to be in trouble.
Okay, that you bring up, I didn't even think about that. That's a good take, D2K. The fact that with just bringing in the, I guess the journalists and all of them, you can show them a video of a game that might not hit the market in 2 years later, with no actual gameplay. But with the public coming in, you got to have something there on the show for it, and it can't be stuff they already playing anyway. So yeah, that dang, I didn't even think about that. Jedi Knight, K-Bomb 20.
So I'll make sure I got the question again. The question again was about E3 and
with E3 being opened up to the public, how should the big three and third party approach this E3 with the change of the dynamic? Because usually it's just investors and journalists and folks who go write up articles. Now it's the people who gonna be this. It's the consumer now, and so that's a different dynamic. And Nintendo seemed to be very excited about the ideal of the consumers being there, which they do this all the time. They always have stuff set up for consumers, so I can understand why they're excited. But how are the other companies going to approach this when you don't, like D2K said, you can't play around and just show them a video of something coming 2 years later? You got to have some actual substance there to be successful. So how should they approach it?
Okay, yeah, I understand that. So I don't know, because some of the I know EA and some other guys have been doing their own little thing, having their own little E3 where they allow the public in to play hands-on. And I see more people actually doing that with this public E3 to give people more playable stuff. And that kind of aligns itself with Jedi, that the public doesn't want to just walk to a booth and just see a video. They want to get your hands on it, want to get your hands on the game and actually play it. And so I don't know, I think that may lead to, I don't know if that effect is going to happen this year. That's my biggest thing. I know they've known for a while that E3 would be open, but I don't know if these companies have been forward thinking, as in how they want to if they're going to react differently to E3 instead of what they.
Are you kidding me? I'm sorry.
And so what I've seen is, I expect them to maybe even go into E3 as it being the same. I don't really see companies making a change this year until the public reacts a certain way, and then they look at it and say, you know what, we can't do business as usual with this E3 being public. Like I said, I don't think the company are going to make their reaction until it happens to them. But that's how I feel. Because I've already looked at some of the stuff that E3's doing, or that EA's doing, which is very similar to what they did last year. But again, that's the whole playable demo things.
But you definitely have a better way to impact. Granted, you have these companies that put out these articles, but word of mouth is almost just as good as an IGN article. And that can spread pretty fast with people with their actual personal experience without the bias of being a big company and whatever drives that can do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I have to apologize to K-Bomb because I'm watching this and I just saw Rob Gronkowski just got involved into the Andre Giant Battle Royal.
What?
Yes, apparently he was in the front row, and Jinder Mahal came over and threw a drink in his face, and he got mad and jumped over the rail and got in the ring and beat him up.
Rob
Gronkowski, the guy from the Patriots, yes.
Yeah, he beat up who?
Jinder Mahal. He's Middle Eastern guy.
I think Shaq gonna show up. That's why I think they got the Big Show out, because it's rumored that Shaq and Big Show are supposed to wrestle. I wonder if Shaq gonna be there. He been getting in shape, man. So I wonder. I don't know.
I mean, the last I heard is that match wasn't going to happen. I mean, I don't know if they can. I don't know. I mean, it does seem kind of stupid to have him get eliminated so fast. And this is supposed to be the Big Show's last WrestleMania. He came out and said that a couple of days ago, and they said they were still in negotiations, but never came out and said, "Okay, Shaq is definitely not coming." So maybe they do have something planned later on. They're just throw that shit in there.
I would think. I've been seeing Shaq pictures lately. Shaq done got really ripped for his size. He ain't as flabby as he used to be. He done lost a lot of weight. But anyway, Jedi Knight, what's your take on this topic, man?
I think overall, the three companies should just do what they would normally do. I think that the public, what they're expecting is E3. So whatever they would typically do at E3 is what the population or the populace there is going to expect. One thing in particular with the Switch, this is more something that I'm hoping that we see, and it alludes to something that D2K said earlier about Nintendo possibly having something up their sleeve. I really hope that they announce something involving NVIDIA. I was really hoping that there were a lot of things that we would see with the Switch that would be based off of NVIDIA's software, such as Shadow Play. What would be the reason to go with a NVIDIA chip? What would be the benefits outside of just hardwares? Are there certain features? And that would be cool. But I guess what we're gonna see is Microsoft showing off a lot of 4K stuff, and Sony possibly showing a new version of the Slim, and then possibly alluding to a lower price in the future. And we really don't know how Nintendo's gonna go about things. Hopefully, it's a lot of new games. But yeah, I think overall it should just be what they would usually do at E3.
Okay.
Before we finish, I want to say that this definitely is Microsoft's. They have to have a Purple Rain like performance at E3 this year.
Wow,
they do.
Rain, bro.
They have to be like. I mean,
Wait. Did you say Purple Rain?
Yes, I did. The dude came out and said, "Boy, it's the squeezing, kiddo. Better kick butt tomorrow night or else." Because that's pretty much where they at right now. I mean, the things
I got what you meant by D2K. I caught it.
I totally did.
So that's what they got to do. I mean, they have to. They are. This is do or die for Microsoft. They got to bring it. This has to be the best E3 they've ever had. Period.
That would be crazy though if they were to, because I think the year that they announced the Xbox 360, I thought that was by far the best E3 I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the one company that don't have to, they can kind of come at it the exact same way they always have and be fine in their current position is Sony. Right. Sony, I don't think they have to do anything necessarily special. Just show God of War again more scenery, God of War, some other titles, maybe some new titles, and Sony will be fine, in my opinion. But I agree with D2Ks. Microsoft has to definitely address the Sony problem with first-party titles because they have nothing that's competing with the Horizons and the Uncharted 4s and the Last of Us and the other stuff that Sony has. Plus, Sony taking is at the helm of third-party titles. But I think Nintendo has to be careful here at E3 too because of the momentum that they have. If they want to keep it going into the fall portion of the platform and up to Odyssey, Nintendo got to bring it this E3 too. No less than Microsoft. Maybe not as urgent as Microsoft, but they got to bring it no less. So
I would say that it's just as urgent with Microsoft as Microsoft with Nintendo. I think is urgent as Microsoft needs to show first-party games is as urgent as Nintendo has to show third-party support.
Right. I agree with that. Or they got to have some hitters that make you forget about third-party, but they either one or the other got to happen. So
the whole thing about the third-party support.
And making in-house games that can compete with like the Uncharted's and Battlefields or certain sports games that they're not getting. If that's not the case, then they need third party.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The thing is that I've people are going to have to resign themselves to the fact that it's not ever going to be any semblance to what Microsoft and Sony get in terms of third party support because it's just not financially advantageous for companies to do so unless Nintendo is producing the games themselves. If Nintendo's going to get third-party support, they're going to have to do what Sony did with the original PlayStation. If you go back to look at the top 10, top 20 games that are best-selling games of the PlayStation, the vast majority of them were published by Sony. And the reason being is that Sony didn't have any pedigree in the gaming industry coming into the fifth generation. They had never made a game console before. And even though Nintendo was jerking around a lot of the third parties even before the decision to go with cartridges, third parties are like, we know what we're getting with Nintendo. We know what we expect with them. We know that the N64 cartridges are super expensive, but you have to really make it financially lucrative for us to abandon them and join you. So Sony basically said, okay, fine, we'll produce your games for you. You just got to make them and we'll share in the profits. The third party said, cool. That's what Nintendo has to do with the Switch. Nintendo has to go to third parties and say, look, we know that you haven't made money on our consoles in the past. So we need your third-party support in order to make our console more viable to people outside of the Nintendo fan base bubble. So we will publish your games on our console. We have the money to do it. We will publish your games so that you have the least amount of loss possible, and everything that you're getting is profit. And we both will be in the black. And if they do that, then third parties will say, okay, they'll find a way to fit, Call of Duty and Battlefield and Battlefront and Assassin's Creed and Far Cry onto the Switch. It won't look as good as a competition, but it'll be there and it'll run properly because Nintendo gave them the money to do it. So that's what they're going to have to do with the Switch if they want third-party support comparable to the competition. If they're not going to do that, then they're going to have to do the best they can to reinvest in their own efforts and buy smaller studios and have them develop your first-party RPs. Since you can't do it all yourself, so you need to buy companies like Shin'en Multimedia. You need to buy companies that are smaller so that you can be able to make more games for your console going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I was thinking something similar along those lines. Like if a company makes a game and they have to pay people to make a port for Nintendo's console, maybe Nintendo can pay that salary to those people. And then instead of even having a situation where you have to pay for distribution and packaging and the carts and all, just make those particular games digital. Granted, you may not be able to get a physical copy, but anybody who has a Nintendo Switch at least have the option on that particular console, even if it's only digital. To not have it at all is Nintendo cannot have that happen.
Now, we're gonna end here, but I got a question. Then we'll get out of here. I guess I throw this at D2K because I'm pretty sure he might know it, or Jedi, you might know it. Is Nintendo manufacturing the cartridges for the Switch?
No, I think that's the Micronics. They're doing that. They were doing the cartridges or the game cards for the 3DS for the longest time. I think the DS as well. I think they do the manufacturing of the cartridges, because that's how we kind of knew the direction that they were going, because of the announcements that were made by Micronics about how they're they expected their profits to go up at a certain time, right around the time that the Switch was going to be coming out. So, yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking, like, if Nintendo is manufacturing the cartridges, they can offer these cartridges to the third parties and, take the hit on the cartridges to allow to get their games on the platform. As long as you putting the games, the information on the cartridge, we will just give you the cartridges to do it. Like you said, and take that hit and then get reap on the other end. As the game sell, they get their money that way. But like you said, Jedi, I don't know, D2K, yeah, I agree. Nintendo gonna have to get that equal parity with Microsoft and Sony. Yeah, Nintendo's gonna have to do something very unique with third party, or like Jedi Knight said, they're gonna either have to match through other companies and produce games that either offset the necessity for the counterpart on that third party is making. If they can have their own studios producing, or at the very least producing games in enough frequent enough that it offsets the need for third party. It might not be the exact same game, but you making so many good games from your first party that it doesn't make you miss what the third party is offering. One of those scenarios has to be in place.
Right. We said that before, and I think that it will be easier for them to produce the games for the other companies, but it'll probably be more lucrative for them in the long term to develop games themselves, because then those games become your property and that you can do whatever you want with them going forward. If Nintendo were to come out with a new football game, a new basketball game, a new fighting game, a new racer, that's theirs, and it takes the world by storm. That's yours.
Man, bring that back, man. That was a good game. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna have to go ahead and end it here. Jedi Knight, dude, we gotta figure out a way to get on with you more often, man. And we miss Keith, but we had him in the comment section. But it was good to be on here with you, bro.
Yeah, definitely, guys. I really appreciate that. I know it's been kind of tough on me as well. My job schedule changed, so now I'm starting work at 6 a.m. So I'm about to call it a night now. It's 7:30 a.m. my time. I'm gonna get in about a good 4.5 hours of sleep and start my Monday. But yeah, definitely. Sundays is where it's at. Thursdays you guys start too late for me, so the best bet will be on Sundays. And yeah, I'll try to keep it as consistent as possible.
Okay, cool, man. Well, like I said, we're glad to have you back on, man. And I'm pretty sure the listening audience was happy to hear you. K-Bomb 20, as always, love there. And D2K, man, I'm about to join you in this wrestling. Keith Norris, thanks for jumping in the comment section. At least we got to hear some of you. Even though we didn't hear your voice, we got to hear your fingers. So trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. Anyway, let me stop. But
He trying to say hard
that was that back to back, But anyway, the church boy be knowing what's going on, man. But anyway, till next time, folks. Deuces.